जयधारी माँ नमस्ते। आइए जुड़िए मेरे साथ 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 विद साइना में। दिल से दिल की बात करेंगे। द लाइट विद इन मी ऑनर्स द लाइट विद इन यू।
Jaythari Ma. Welcome.
Namaste.
Welcome.
Namaste, Saina.
Yes, very welcome, Geetika. Aashna, lots of love.
Hello, ma'am.
Lots of love to you. We greet our audiences. Aye judiye and share this today's journey of life, love, strength.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Happy to be here with you.
Yes. It's an incredible journey of life, love, strength, emotions, pain, laughter, joy. Life. It's life. It's made up of all colors.
Very true, and very well said. You
Yes.
have the rain and you have the sunshine, so you just have to deal with all.
Yes, we have to embrace it all with a prayer. We have to embrace it all. My dearest Aashna, we're going to start by talking to you, sweetheart. What have you been up to? What have you been writing?
Hello, ma'am. Firstly, thank you so much for having us and me the second time. So I feel like a veteran over here.
Lots of
But I just got done with school and I've joined college. So now I'm in SRCC doing BCom honors. And I've been writing, and my perspective of writing has changed so much ever since we last talked. I think last we talked, I had and I remember reading out a poem about death that time as well, coincidentally. And now I think my perspective of all loss, grief, love, even has deepened so much ever since we last met, and it's almost going to be a year. So I've been writing a lot about that and compiling a few poems, but nothing big as such.
You're a blessed child. You're a blessed child. All the love of your dad is in you. He's with you. Since you've spoken about that emotion, what's your talk about some lovely fond moments with your dad, because I can feel he's with you. He's sitting right next to you. Talk about him.
Absolutely. I think you said just the right thing, and the quote you all had put was also one I've read, and it's so accurate. Like so many a times when all of this happened, my initial thoughts were that if I see, say, my large friend group with their fathers, or if I see someone on their birthday and their fathers with them, it'll really affect me, and this won't ever go, be it a year or 10 years, but I don't know if it's a personal thing for me or if this happens to anyone who loses someone they are so connected with. That we both, me and my mom, we feel him everywhere, all the time. And on my first day of college, I wasn't sad, I wasn't crying, because we could really feel him everywhere and on every important occasion. And there are tough days as well, but the strength just shines through because of his blessings, is what I think.
Yes. And you've been loved, and you are loved. You've been loved so much, and you will always be loved by him. You know that. Yeah.
Thank you.
And your father was and is a very brave man. and so is your mother.
Yes.
So is your mother. And so we're going to start talking to your mommy. Yes, Geetika, a lot of love and strength. You feel that both love, strength, pain. You feel all of that.
All of that and more. All of that and more.
Yeah. What's it been? How have you felt having the support around you? Because I think that's a very, very big blessing. Not many are blessed with supportive family and friends. I think that's been a great blessing for you, having supportive friends and family.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, when it happened that day, probably I thought that I wouldn't last the night. I mean, the pain in my heart was just like almost physical. I just thought I just can't live through that night or that day. And within 24 hours, by the time I went to Palam the to receive him with Ashna. I think that acceptance, that strength, that poise, that everything he gave and went, and more. I mean, I don't think we've looked back after that day, and not that we don't grieve, but he just taught us to, because he was the kind of man he was, and the way he lived was something. Um, I mean, he lived each day as if it were a celebration, and our house was always full, and there was so much happening, and but he's kept the pace. Suddenly, I mean, his departure uh, in in the physical form, I would say, doesn't. I don't even have a better way of putting it across, but like Ashna said, we feel his presence in our house. We feel his presence in everything we do. And so many times, I mean, I remember earlier giving an interview with She the People, and I was telling the journalist there, Tanvi, that, there are so many times I feel that because the biggest thing you miss is the friendship. Uh, you've actually, more than the spouse, you've lost your best friend. So, and we used to talk a lot. So so many times I used to say, I feel on an impulse, you want to dial that number, because initially that physical memory is very, very raw, and it's very alive. And, the muscle memory is such that the moment I got a higher appointment in my job, I just dialed his number and I realized he's not there. So you feel that, I remember telling her in February last year that so many times I feel, oh, I have to tell this to Tony, and suddenly I say, oh, he's not there. But today, having traversed this 1 year, Ashna and me both feel that way, that, oh, he knows. I mean, we talk to him, we have our conversations, and he knows everything. And he would have reacted this way, or this is how he would have said this for this situation, and this is how he would have tackled it. So it just makes it simpler. He makes our path simpler. And yes, the support you're talking about, I can never thank God enough for filling my basket with friends. And I mean, the kind of strength I have, the outreach is like, they are working overtime to ensure that my hard days, every time there's a festival coming, and I'm palpitating, like, how am I going to get through this? And I mean, because, and I tell her that he can't be around, so he has left angels around us. And if you believe in it, there is love around us from every corner, and we feel so blessed.
Yes, and I'm very sorry. That's my inverter making that noise. And you've been loved. I think that's what's so special, that you that love is embracing you both each moment.
Yeah, there are people to hold us. There are people to, like my friends and her friends, and they've been special through the journey. Every eight there'll be, I mean, initially it was much more, and then they've realized that we are on our path, and we are, walking. So it's like those baby steps where you try to hold the child to walk, and then you see the child is walking, and you let them be independent also. That support and the distance and the respect for your time and space, all of that and more.
जी, आप दोनों उन्हीं के हो, and you're doing him proud. आप उन्हीं के हो,
That's right.
या उन्हीं के तो हो. Ashna, you're very close to your nani.
Yes.
Okay, you want to talk about your nani?
Absolutely. I think she'll love it if I do, because my nanny's lifelong demand from me has been that, and this is ever since I was 5, that जब आप stage पे चढ़ोगे तब मेरा नाम लेना. So I've done that multiple times, but it's never enough. So I'm hoping this time is the one. But
She's quite
I'm
a
very
baby
close.
herself. My mother is quite a baby, so
No, but you
she.
must tell auntie that Saina auntie made sure that we talk about her. So now we're going to talk about
Yes.
your nani. We're going to spend all the time talking about your nani.
She's going to love this. So, my nanny and I are very close, and that's also because, as my mom said, she's like a baby herself. So, I think as I am growing, I almost feel older than her sometimes, where I'm like, no, nanny, but you have to understand. And I explain things to her. And my book is dedicated to my nanny, and a poem is on her, and she's like my friend. We talk, but now, I mean, lesser because of college and work and friends and everything, but we talk as much as we can whenever I meet her. My nana nani are based in Chandigarh, and it's my favorite city because of that. So yes, I'm very close to my grandparents.
So,
And they're
Saina, as
blessings.
she said it, it's also to put it in perspective. Like when Ashna was born, I was in my parents' house because Tony was in J&K in Rajouri. And then, because being an infantry wife, one has been a single parent for the longest time, but not
Yes.
in this, the connotation has changed. But we have brought up Ashna, almost singly, because he would come and go. And, when infantry fathers, they come home, they are the Santa Claus. I used to tell him, you ruin the routine of the house when you come, because there's parties, there's, like eating out, and there's everything which I do with her just goes for a toss because her dad is around. So, and that is where my parents have played the part, and, coming in on her birthdays when we are alone, and we've spent some time home with them while we've been alone. So they have been godparents to her
Yes.
ever since she can remember.
And a lot of love and blessings, a lot of love and blessings coming from them.
Absolutely.
You want to
Yeah,
read
they're
out a
very
little poem,
spiritual. My
Ji?
parents are very, very spiritual and very devout. And, so they kind of teach her the right things. They teach her the power of prayer. And I think now all of that is coming together and making us be what we are. We realize that
What?
comes from the power
That,
of prayer and nothing more.
yes, that's so wonderful. But the truth is, the power of prayer and faith does hold us together.
Yes.
अगर वो नहीं होगा तो हम बिखर जाएंगे. It is the power of blessings and faith and prayer जो हमें संभाले हुए है. नहीं तो how do you go through such uh, emotions and such an intense journey? वो संभाले हुए हमें. Ashna, you want to read out a little poem on your nani or any other poem you want?
Absolutely. I mean, and I haven't read out this one. So, my nanny's name is Indu. So it's called Dear Indu. Dear Indu, you've been so amicable towards me that I stay indebted forever. Your smile, ever charming, adds to your beneficial sort of endeavor. You playing with your phone like it's a toy to be sought. Golden memories aren't the only thing from you that I have bought. Your laugh morphs emotions from grim to elated. Your heart forever big, and your gloom leaves me slated. Dear Indu, you've held a baby Ashu, and you hold my heart captivated still. So you can keep me forever and more. We can sail and sail aimlessly with no shore. Tugging on your rosary and telling on the beads, that's the prayer. Potting plants in gardens and stopping me from eating seeds. The red light above your bed, making sure Nanu eats his med. Holding me then and holding me now, growing with me again and growing with me now. Dear Indu, you clear a mist of miasmal with a word so sweet, teaching a raccoon how to eat, how to greet. You live and solicit life, being a mother, nanny, and a wife. Love is all I have to give, so accept my humble thrift. For love, I always wish lasts, even through your mahjong games and your endless fasts. So that's the poem.
That's so beautiful. She's going to be very happy listening to that poem.
She was. She was.
This is so blessed. Have you written it down and given it to her?
It's
It's
part
in the
of the
book.
book, so she's
It's
read
part
Okay,
of
it.
the book.
she's got that. She's
Yes.
got yes.
Yes.
Geetika, talking about such a lovely support system, let's talk about AVA. Let's talk about the Army Wives Welfare Association. एंड
जी.
मैंने ये पढ़ा है उसका ये एसेंस है आशा विश्वास एंड आस्था.
Astha.
Yes. आप would you like to talk about it, how you're supporting each other, loving each other, nurturing each other, and
Yes.
all that it does?
So our essentially is an organization which is, multi-dimensional, and while you are in service, and while, I mean, we have done our at all levels as wives. I mean, starting from, checking the hygiene of the houses, like you go to the, you help the Jawan's wives. Earlier times they were not so educated, and you would see their pregnancy cards if they have even done a tetanus, and are they seeing the doctor, and helping them through tough pregnancies, infertility. This is all what we have done as army wives. But the larger picture in last few years, it has just grown from strength to strength. Our is training women in vocational training. Our is giving, beyond just medical, and the lectures of how to use an ATM, and like about when Ashna was born, those were, I mean, 15-20 years, it's grown in many many ways. And now it's more like they organize lit fest, they train our lady wives to join the industry, they open up job opportunities, and so much more. So this is while the husbands are serving. This is while you are a lady wife in whatever capacity. You could be an officer's wife, you could be a Jawan's wife, and Ava has an outreach for you. Ava is a channel. But having said that, doing duties with Ava was another thing, and uh, losing your husband, and seeing the others around you, like in this accident there were 12 families affected. And there you come to know the role of Ava, that they this is after a tragedy like this happens, that they have ways and means to hold you, to make sure that your benefits reach you. They make sure that your paperwork comes through, your pension begins. Because all these, end of the day, one part of your loss is grief, and the other part of your loss is survival. Like, how are you going to live, and how are you going to manage, and what's your, I mean, because the man of the house has gone. So that is another part that I have just been introduced to over the last 11 months. They have people who are checking on you, that they have designated, a particular unit which will check on you, that do you need anything. Luckily for me, and like I can never stop saying that, touch wood, to the blessings God has still given me, that I'm educated, I drive, I have a wonderful job, and which I love, and it is my, it is my ikigai, it is my reason to be. And my daughter is, she was in 12th that time. But there are people who need all the support, who are so scattered, who don't know what, who don't know banking, who are not work. There are young girls there with 2-year-old children, and so that's where their role, I mean, comes, multiplied and larger than, I mean, it becomes like the entire village which is holding that woman together, getting her benefits, even getting her a job if possible. If she wants one, they can make vacancies, they can, put them in army schools, and so on and so forth. And for that, I would say that, me being me, and the place where God had placed me, uh, I really feel blessed that I could carry on with that strength, because I did have things to, hold on to, and I did have a routine of sorts. I was already in a very, I mean, I work in a very good organization, which also has its support systems right there for me. But AVA is a huge channel. I mean, AVA is, and also they see to your housing. Do you need, because immediately the first thought I remember, my father was trying to look up places in Vasant Kunj, and trying to say that, okay. And we have, how the Fauji's are, we collect things over and wherever we go, and we had a blessed journey. I mean, we were abroad, we were, posted in various places where you tend to collect. And my first thought was, my God, look at my house, it's so full of things, and what am I going to do, and where am I going to take all this, and what is my need for any of this anymore, when so the fact that they will, they let you be, like they have give you the house for 2 years, till such time you mentally plan on where you want to go, how you want to decongest, an apartment that you want to take. So they kind of ease it out for you. I mean, life has been harsh, but Ava makes the, it cushions the blow very well.
So Ava is really holding their hand through this.
That's right. That's right. You have a
Ava is
channel.
really
You
doing
have a
that.
voice. You have a channel. If need be, for the ladies who really need it, and they can voice their thoughts. They can. I do know that some ladies who are young, they can say that, why don't you pass this test and you become an officer yourself? Why don't you, enroll when you're young in the army or in air force or something like that? They help out in a large way.
Geetika, how are the families doing? जो आपने बोला 12 families, how are they all doing?
Yeah, so I am in touch with the ones of the secretariat, the CDS secretariat, not the Air Force ladies, because I mean, at some time, I do feel that we can reach out to our microcosm and not so much because, after all, my life also got overtaken by a whole lot of things, and I didn't even know. I mean, for all that education that we boast of, that, we are educated women and we can handle things, finances was something I'd never done. After the last ride, somebody asked me that what was his pay account, where was the salary coming. I didn't know which bank was the salary coming. So these are big struggles, and they are there for real. So when you start, and in an incident like this, it's no such. By the time people are over 70, they start making a, kind of a document that this is there and this is there. This is like all over the place, where we have to find our feet, and which bank accounts and which money and blah blah. So since all of that also happened, and since holding Ashna, dealing with my parents and their grief, and Ashna being in such a tough year, and don't even talk of managing myself. So and dealing with the banks and where and the claims and all of that. So I could only do a little bit. I It's never enough what you can do for anyone, but we have a support group for General Rawat's daughters and Colonel Harjinder's wife, and the ones we were anyway close because we were the secretariat with the CDS. So we have a group, and we, like, when the 40 days happened, so we did a little toast and a celebration. Christmas came, and Agnes celebrated Christmas right in the same month. She said a toast to her husband and the life that he led, and for her daughter, we carried on a little. So by and by, baby steps, like we say that, the line of that group is that little by little we let go of life, but never of love. So little by little we are just learning to let go of what we had, and not mourn that, but celebrate what we had and keep the love with us. So we
ये
are connected, and it's a very good feeling to have our get-togethers. We go out, we do some potlucks. It's a nice, it's
ये
nice
भी
sharing.
शुक्र है, ये भी शुक्र है कि लाइक माइंडेड लोग आसपास हैं.
Yeah,
ये भी
yeah,
शुक्र है, वेल मीनिंग वेल विशर्स हैं आसपास. ए-
very true. Army is a large family, so there are people to look out for you, and
हाँ, हाँ,
people
क्योंकि
have been kind.
इट्स अ टफ वर्ल्ड आउट देयर. आपके पास अगर ये भी सपोर्ट सिस्टम है, बिकॉज हकीकत तो ये है दैट लाइफ डज टर्न अपसाइड डाउन.
Yes, yes,
You have to start from scratch.
yes.
You have to have to relearn everything. You have to learn, you have to relearn.
Yeah, like I say, cushioning the shock. There are people. There is God's ways of cushioning the shock and
Yes.
making you walk again.
और धीरे 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 आप आगे बढ़ते हो. Yes. Ashna, what's your day like? What do you like doing? What's college like?
So it's been a week exactly since I've been going to college, and it's obviously, I mean, it's every, I think, commerce student's dream college. It's a great college with great infrastructure, and I've been looking forward to college for the longest time, like any 12th grader, that up college aega and up and life will really begin and you'll get new exposure. And I mean, Delhi University is a lot of travel, so I get up in the morning around 7. I leave the house, and it takes me like an hour and a half to get to my college. And like student life, and then you start, you have classes, sometimes they get cancelled, and then you're out with friends, and then I come home at around 5:36. And and then obviously I'm very tired because it's like 3 hours of travel. And I go out, I play basketball sometimes and sleep. Finally, my mom is so happy I've started sleeping early because of college, so I sleep at around 10:30, 11, and that's the day.
You've made some friends.
Yes, yes, ma'am. So I had a couple of my close friends in my. Luckily, I got very lucky with a couple of my classmates in my class in college as well. So we're a good bunch, and it's nice. It's a good college. It's a mixed bag of students, and you need to find your crowd. And I think I'm on the path to finding mine.
So
Keep
while
your
she
keep
says
your
that, I must come in here, having
Yes.
said that, my mother's happy that I'm sleeping on time. That this is, I mean, however settled and however strong and however good we look through the day, Ashna has not gone a day to, when the child is in 12th, there is no school because you're only preparing for the boards, and there's only this much that you can do. Even on the day of the chopper crash, she was writing a board exam, and then the next set of boards were in June, and then there was the CUET. So there was no routine for her, there was no school to go to. Whereas in 7 days I joined back my school, and my school has an exacting routine. I mean, I do leave the house at 7:15 and I come back by 5. So and then to deal with the other things and the lot of guests coming and the bank and all of that. And then so the day would go by for Ashna with her friends and people around. And the Cant has a set of children who are in 12th, who are as Vela as her, who are around the joint, who are meeting in park. All of that was fine. But the nights were so hard. And that is why I'm so, because the night is the time when all the grieving happens, all because you're alone, and it's dark and it's quiet, and probably that's the time she would start her venting, and that's the time I would have to hold her through it, and especially the initial months. So mm, I'm really happy that this kind of a physical routine, and she's going to get tired, and her life has started, and
Absolutely. And to add
and
on to that, and the initial days, I mean, they're tough for everyone. But I think for me, it was more of the shock that didn't seep in, because I remember this happened on 8th December. I had just come back from my board, and I had another board exam in 2 days. And so I was very, I think, frazzled as to what I should be feeling, what I should be doing. And I remember my first tuition for accountancy was on 9th December. And the tuition teacher was crying on in the class, and I just didn't know what to feel. So I think at night, and that's also because my dad would come back from office on late, so he'd come back at around 8:30. And I remember the next 2 weeks after 8 December sitting in the drawing room at 8:30, and just in hope and in wait, and maybe out of habit, that the bell's going to ring and our dog would sit near the door. And so I think that those days were the hardest for us, and the nights were unimaginable for me, because I just wouldn't be able to accept or come around with the fact that my I have to sleep with my mom and my dad's not here, and this is his spot in the bed. And I mean, I'm sleeping on his side. Where is he? And so those days and nights were very, very tough.
So I haven't let her off from my side, because obviously, I cannot let her be in another room, and I cannot in the mental state that she is. So all this college and the high that the dream college is giving her, and the friends that she'll have, and the outings that she'll have is really a big, step for us. And we are really looking forward to her journey in college.
Keep your day full. Keep your day
Yes,
full.
yes,
Daddy's spot is daddy's spot.
yes,
And
absolutely.
your mummy's your mummy is beautiful. Daddy's spot is going to be daddy's spot.
Absolutely.
Gitika, how are you nurturing yourself at this point?
So of late, I've been thinking of that maybe so much happened and so much I had to hold and do, that my to-do list never gotten over. I mean, it never got over, and I, uh, of course, I used to be mechanically exhausting myself, and probably, and then I haven't really slept the last 11 months peacefully because of initially Ashna and the all the stresses and everything. So I do feel that maybe after this December, and mentally I'm, because I do believe in the power of prayer, and I believe in uh, I believe that I did read some books, and I was very ritualistic earlier. And like I said, I come from a devout family, and we do the things we do, and we do pray and everything. But I did become a little spiritual and understand the journey of the souls, that everybody is in our life for a season, for a reason, for a path, and everyone has their own destiny, everyone has their own path. And we were blessed to be with him on his path, walking with him for those many years, and now that's all we get, and he's in a happy place. So all of that has really given me some kind of a acceptance and strength, and that if I were to go back to the time I was 17 and I met him, and by the time we got married, I was 22 and a half, and someone said that you're going to be with him, be his wife for only 25 years, I'd probably still choose the same road I walked. So all of that gives me a lot of solace, and I'm mentally in a happy place. I feel I have understood God's plan, and I've accepted it, and I don't ask the question why me, and why did I only feel for my daughter. I mean, that she's deprived of a very beautiful relationship that she had, and I don't even try to fill in the blanks, because one time she told me very harshly that initial days, after 1 or 2 weeks, don't try to become, just be mummy, don't try to become papa and mum. So I'm just the way I am. But I do think sometimes that I need to do something for myself, because I have ignored you know me time. I need some.
You've been wonderful. You've done your best. You need to give yourself that care and that. But acceptance is a superpower. You feel acceptance is a superpower. It helps you to.
It's the only way forward. Acceptance is
Yes,
the only way forward of what is happening to you. And if you start getting into the reasoning, and if you start getting into, like, I didn't do anything wrong, and I was like, I used to do all my, you know I was a good person, and I'm a good girl, and all of that, then a lot of
Absolutely.
people do come and say ye to achhi thi, ya ye, iske saath, there is no,
Hmm.
there are no parameters for what happens. And I
Why,
still
like, why? That's what.
And I feel, if you
To
have loved, it's a Sadhguru quote which I always follow, that only those who have loved immensely can accept loss gracefully. It's only because the love was so true and so immense that you can just let go also. That it was his journey, he's happy, and I'm happy if he's happy.
our limited human mind can't understand beyond a point. जितनी समझ है उतना समझ जाते हैं, जितनी शक्ति है बर्दाश्त करने की उतनी कर भी लेते हैं, वो भी कृपा से मिलता है। फिर मन की शक्ति, मन, ये जो मन है ना, मन की शक्ति वो मांगते रहो एंड कीप कंप्लीटिंग आवर ओन जर्नी आल्सो।
Yes, yes.
क्योंकि
yes,
अब मन की शक्ति मांगो, एक्सेप्टेंस पावर मांगो, और अब हमको अपनी जर्नी भी कंप्लीट करनी है।
I feel
तो
yes.
he's watching us, and he's giving us that strength to walk, and he was always very pushy. He was very, that you have to do this, you have to do this, and I was the reticent one. And so now, when I work, or when I feel that somewhere up there he must be very happy with whatever I'm doing.
of course, this is a very blessed bond. आप एक साथ ही हो, आप उन्हीं के हो। अच्छा, talk about your work, Geetika, because your school is lovely. Your work, yeah,
Yeah,
talk
so
about
I
your.
work with the Sri Ram school, and this March I cleared the interviews, and I mean, God was kind that I could step up my profile, and I'm the vice principal of the junior school at Aravali. And you know, any hard day, I think, I mean, like this year has been the year of first. So the first Karwa Chauth, and the first, the Shera, and the first uh, day before was our anniversary. It would have been 26th. So it's just that you the school gives you the reason to be. You dress up, you wear nice clothes, you get into the school, and from there, the namaste ma'am, and those children around you, and the parents, and the teacher community around you. There's so much love. It's a blessed place, and I don't think I would have been the way I am had I not been working in a place which is so sensitive, and which is I mean, full of lovely people around. So I think they fill my day, and I come back very, it kind of ticks all the boxes. Your mental and your, all your challenges are done. You've worked hard. It's a social interaction. It's a mental stimulation, and it's full of tender, loving care. So I do love my job. I really love my job.
ये भी बहुत अच्छा है, बहुत शुक्र है that you're in an environment that's full of love.
Yes.
ये सच में शुक्र है, क्योंकि बच्चों से ज़्यादा innocent प्यार तो कोई नहीं दे सकता.
Yes.
Environment is full of that innocent love, and they love you for who you are.
Yes. And it's junior school, no? So they haven't started judging like how our age group. Junior school is full of love till they start judging you.
नहीं नहीं नहीं, आशना, मम्मी कुछ कह रहे हैं.
I don't want to tell my mom how accurate she is.
मम्मी कुछ कह रहे हैं, मम्मी looking there and see, judging. नहीं बेटा, नहीं बेटा, this is a very, very blessed bond, and I think children also need to understand that mummies do their best.
Absolutely.
Mummies give their best to you, and all they want is that you should stay happy, healthy, and you should live a life without fear.
Yes.
You should live a life full of hope, love.
And that's been a thing which I think in hindsight, now that it's going to be a year, I realize that not once did I ever feel very less or uncomfortable in situations, or I felt that I didn't have some things others had, or some love which others had and I was missing out on. Firstly, because of how we've talked of feeling the presence of someone and the love that we have around us, and most importantly, I think because of my mom, and because I don't think um it's amazing because to her the loss was so new as well. It's not like she'd dealt with this before, but she dealt with it so well that I just had to deal with it well. I mean, there was no example I saw in front of me that was bad. So because she dealt with it so well, and I tell her this so often, that because you deal with it so naturally and so well and gracefully, the other person just has to, because that's the only example you see in front of you.
Beta, can I say this to you? Can I say something to you?
Yes, ma'am.
She does it for you. She does it for
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah, so true, so true. Because she is my reason to, carry
She
on
does it.
and
Yeah, she does it
fill
for
our
you,
life.
Beta. Yeah, she does it for you. Mummy goes on and on for you.
Yes.
And when you see mummy, you can see your daddy also in her.
Yes, a
So,
lot of the strength.
yes. So you don't have to see them as mummy, and you know, when you see her, you also see your daddy in her,
Yes.
because they
Yes.
both are one.
Absolutely.
She's got that strength from there,
Yes.
but she does it for you. Otherwise, maybe
Absolutely.
she would have, वो अलग थोड़ा सा हो जाता है जिंदगी, लेकिन जब आपका बच्चा आपके सामने है और उसका पूरा फ्यूचर आपके सामने है, that gives you a different kind of strength not to
Yes.
give up.
It gives you
So,
reason and purpose, no, Saina? It gives you that purpose that this is it. Now, these are my goalposts, these are my milestones. It's because she is there that we have to propel ourselves, that we have to make a life for her. So,
so when you are going to smile, Ashna, and when you're going to be happy, and when you're going to be doing well, and when you're going to achieve, both your parents are going to feel that.
so that's the best thing that she ever, I think, she doesn't say too many good things to me, but the best thing that she's been a daddy's girl, and so it's always been, we talk a lot, we are best friends, but we are on the same level always, and I'm the wicked witch, and, we have a part.
So,
So I one of these days, I think she wrote somewhere in some poem, or she told me, I really don't know, I don't remember. But she said, Papa was a hero, and now you are a superhero. Or something like, I don't remember exactly, but that was the best thing she's
We
ever told.
I said this was on their anniversary 2 days back, and I think that night I just said, "Mom, don't come to my room. Mom, don't come to my room. Have some work." And I just locked myself up and wrote my parents a letter, and both of them, because I write a lot to my dad still. I write a lot to him, and I used to as well. We used to keep messaging each other. So I think I wrote that this is the first letter I'm writing to you both collectively, because you were so whole when he was there as well. You were so one. I mean, it's not like that, as you said. It's like one person. It was always like that. So you could always see reflections of each other in them. But I did say that we always talk of how strong he was, and we always say, "Oh, he was such a hero." But you've been such a bigger hero after he left. Like he's left you with a purpose, and you've really fulfilled that.
okay, let's do one thing from today. Let's start hugging mommy once a day for sure, and saying one lovely thing to her every day.
Done.
We do that.
Absolutely. We'll be doing that now.
We are going to say one pretty sweet, lovely thing to her every day. And
Yes.
what we're going to do is you're going to say one thing to her from your side, and then you're going to tell her one thing from daddy's side,
Yes.
because
That I will.
you exactly know how your daddy thinks. So he'll tell
Yes.
you, and you tell her.
I'll just convey it. Yes.
Yes. So he's going to give her a compliment every day, and he's going to tell you what to say, and you're going to
Yes.
tell mommy that.
Yes.
And sometimes message me that, Saina auntie, this is done. This
Yes.
is
Thank you.
true.
Thank you for this activity, Saina auntie. It's really
Yes.
helped.
That's
This
that's
is
a lot on her plate. I don't see it
no,
coming.
no, no. This is beautiful. I think he wants it. I think he would love it. He's going to give you a little message for your mummy every day, and he's going to compliment her on how she's looking, or what she's done, or her achievement, or how she's held herself together, her love. Because do that for her. He wants to.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying this. He wants to do this. So he's going to whisper that in your ear, and you're going to tell mommy. And
Yes.
one will
Lots
come
of
from your side.
compliments coming her way.
Yes. And one will come from you. So one from daddy, one from you.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Thank you.
Geetika, Geetika, it was lovely. I saw that little post of yours when you were talking about the Jaipur festival.
That's right.
Tell us more about that now. That was really nice.
Oh, so Jaipur Lit Fest was like an Ava thing, and
Huh.
it was a 3 day festival, 11, 12, 12, 13, 14 November. So 2 days I could be there. 14 November is Children's Day, so I had to be at school. We had the Shri Masti, so it was a full day at school also. So during those 2 days, the 3 day event, it was full of a lot of book launches, a lot of panel discussions, a lot of people speaking to like bloggers and how tos. A lot of people who were so all there were three venues, and that whole year that place was taken up by Ava and converted into a literary fest, a festival of sorts. And I was there to moderate two sessions and introduce another speaker. So one of the sessions I had to moderate was all a set of firsts, like the first lady officer who was a war widow and who became a lady officer, the first paratrooper lady officer, the first lady officer with a gallantry medal, the first. So that was a kind of like heroines of sorts. So that was a panel discussion, and then there was another panel discussion I moderated, which was Zindagi Ek Safar, which was dealing with and Ranvijay Singha was also on it. His mother was there, Bali Singha, Lily Swaran. So there were published authors there who had written about their journeys, and they had a set of books and poems and things to their credit. And then I was talking to them, and I had curated the questions for them like a moderator should. And then there were others like Mrs. Sapna Agarwal. I had to host her talk show for her. So, her journey, and she was doing all the how to's. How would you become, in the social media space, how to start blogging, how to get your likes, she's a very big name in terms of, posting YouTube videos and getting those likes. And she's an influencer. So there were 2, 3 influencers there also that I was. So basically, I had gone there to do all this moderation and all that.
Do you like reading? Do you enjoy reading, writing?
Yes, I do. But life and its space has not allowed me too much reading in the past, but I do try to find time. But earlier, I was a prolific reader, and writing definitely, I see writing as a form of journaling, I see writing as a form of venting, and yes, I do.
Reading and writing does bring comfort. It does kind of bring that little comfort. It's like a little balm for a while at least.
Yes.
Yes.
At
Yes.
least for a while, it does bring in that. What's your dream, and what are your thoughts for Ashna, Geetika? What do you how do you what's your
We are from a generation where probably we were, in a way, that generation had this doctor engineer expectation, this. And now I think children have to just hack their own path in the jungle. It's not even, they can't walk a set path. And Ashna can be a trailblazer. I do see, and especially the last year has shown me that innate strength that she has. So earlier we thought we just brought up a baby and we kind of spoiled her rotten, and she's a late child. She's come after 8 years of marriage. So Ashna, has had a childhood which is, you know, in a way she couldn't, like she was the apple of many eyes, not just her dad's. So I feel from that space to this, what she's become today, my only thing is that, I will always just believe in that one line, that don't prepare the road for your child, prepare your child for the road, because you don't know which road that child is going to walk on. So I do think that Tony and me together, and now life with its lessons, has done a good job with preparing Ashna for walking the road. And she will find her path. And I don't want to have an expectation out of her. But the only thing I tell her is, be true to your name. You're a leader. Whatever you do, do it well.
Ashna, your thoughts?
Um, I think I think that goes also to show that I haven't really prepared myself to for like a particular road I have to take. But that way, I'm very scattered on what I want to do and what I want to be. And I think each time I watch a new movie, I'm like, no, I want to be this, and oh, I want to be a doctor, or like I want to get into marketing or journalism. But it goes without saying that I think somewhere seeing my parents on their paths and complementing each other has given me a lot of strength that everything will happen and in due time, and hope that I choose the right path and do decently okay in whatever I choose.
So I must tell you this. It's I don't. I think it may be just off the record, but I completely believe that if something you have to do, if there is something in life which will give you a purpose, and that will be you, it will find you.
Yes.
And come hell or high water, it'll come to you any which ways. So
Yes.
I remember after my 10th class, when you choose your subjects, and I used to get good marks always. So I wanted to do English literature, and I had this thing of, living in the mountains in a small hilly sleepy town and teaching English to children. And that is what I wanted to do at age 15. And my father's an engineer. I mean, he's also from the army, but engineers. So and they all said that with all these marks, you must take the science subjects with maths. So it was between engineering and medical. And after 12th, I ended up doing a computer hardware course with maths, electronics, stats, and a lot of computer subjects. And then suddenly I said in third year, this is not me. I can't be sitting behind this computer for my life. Then I moved on to MBA. I've been in the corporate world. Then I came into training, coaching, MBA, BBA teaching, airport, hotels, newspapers. I mean, my CV looks like nobody ever wanted me because I was a trailing spouse. Every 2 years, I used to change a job and, land up. I've started with the newspapers, went to the hotels, then came to the airport. And then and suddenly I found myself in school. And that was primary school. I didn't even know how to connect with those children. I mean, they were so young, and I was dealing with only adults at all points in time.
And
And
teaching
today,
English.
and teaching English.
Yeah.
So finally, we walked full circle, and that's what I love to do. The best part of the day is when I teach. So you find a path, and your path finds you. So I'm sure it'll
Yeah.
manifest.
Your calling found you. But it's, as mothers, it's tough because you have to let your children also embrace life as it comes.
Yes.
They also
Yes.
have to go out there in the world.
It's also the smarter thing to do these days, Saina, because if you if you tell them either which ways, they're not going to listen. So at least be the righteous one that, see, I didn't tell you anything, find your own space.
Make your own mistakes. Yes.
No, but to always know that we'll always stand by you, no matter what. No matter what.
Yes,
A mother will never judge you, and we will always stand by you. But you have to
Absolutely.
embrace your own life. You have to walk your own path. That's
Yes.
something you have to do.
Yes.
Geetika, a thought coming to my mind. Love is a gift. You feel that way? Love is a divine gift.
very much so. Blessed are those who could find love.
Na? And that intensity,
Yes,
with that intensity, because it's so beautiful. Sirf, it's only when you love truly can you say this, that we will do it all over again.
yes.
Na?
And grief
Because
is the price of love at whichever, I mean, this is because this is premature and it was
yeah,
trauma, but grief is always the price of love. Whether
it
you
is.
love a child, whether you love a parent, whether you love a friend, finally, you have to, be prepared that the flip side of it is always grief because of the attachment involved. It is only when you are detached, it's only when you learn to let go that uh, grief doesn't become you, it doesn't possess you. Only love does.
यस, बट वो अटैचमेंट जो होती है, वो जो मोह होता है ना,
मोह होता है, हाँ.
हाँ, मोह होता है ना प्यार के साथ, वो आई गेस इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ लव. आई एम टॉकिंग ऑफ द मोह, जो लॉन्गिंग होती है, यू नो
Hmm.
इट्स दैट काइंड ऑफ अटैचमेंट. बट ठीक है, we go on loving.
Yes.
So, yes. Ashna, what are your favorite things? What do you like doing? What's your
Um,
favorite?
So I enjoy, apart from obviously writing, I think I really enjoy public speaking. I think that's quite one of my favorite things to do, and it's I'm very passionate about it, and I really like doing it, and I love interacting with people. And whenever I tell my parents this, their reason would be, okay, beta, then do UPSC. So, I mean, I can't study that much, not as of yet. But I think bringing change to things and 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 doing more than just talking about it, or doing, like, I was just doing an internship with the Mojo story and with Barkhadat, and I think that to me was so invigorating, because I could do more than just talk, and I could go meet people, interview them, and interact with them, know what they're feeling. So I think that is something I'm very passionate about, and I really enjoy interacting with people, knowing their stories, writing, reading, talking about it. So that's fun to me.
And what are your favorite colors and food? And
um
tell me things like that.
very basic teenager. I love Maggie. I think I can have it all day, all night. And I'm so glad I've started going to college, because I just don't eat my lunch and I eat in the canteen. So that's the best part for me. And my favorite color is blue. And that's basically it. And mostly nowadays, because so many of us are in college, and some of my best friends are in residentials or private colleges, I think my second most, the thing I do the most after talk to my mom, or go to college, is talk to video call with my friends, because they're telling me about their college, I'm telling them about my college. So that's what I've been up to for the
All the
past
time, all the time, she's talking to friends. And of course, we have a set talk
probably.
time. We need to download our days to each other. And mostly she's talking to her friends, which is her favorite part of the day.
Yes.
Lovely. Okay, Ashna, what do you feel about self love? What do you feel about self love, self care? What are your thoughts on that?
I think as important as it is, it's also very minutely found. And I'm talking for my age group and my generation. And I think I've realized this very recently, that um, in with people our age, there's barely a mid ground between being a people's pleaser and wanting to make everyone happy, or just letting go of that and not making anyone happy and not bothering. And to find a mid ground is so tough, because for the longest time, and this goes with, I think, being very interactive or extroverted, is you want to make everyone feel included and welcome and loved. And while you're doing that, it's, you much later you realize that you've really lost loving yourself, or you're really sometimes not true to yourself, just in order to make the other person feel at home or comfortable. And I think very recently I've realized that, except, firstly, loving yourself is much more important. Self love is the most important thing, and it is the number one thing to keep you sane in today's day and age. And the balance between not caring and caring a lot, because it's, you can't be detached to a level where you don't care. That's unhealthy too. And you can't be people pleasing all the time. You can't make everyone happy. You can't expect them to you can't expect everyone to be your best friend. And I think for the longest time, I used to come home and cry and say, no, she said this to me today. How did I mean, how did that happen? Why is she not my best friend anymore? So and my mom used to tell me this, and I never used to register it. But now I think, because I'm 18 and I've gone through with so many friendships, that I've realized she used to say that everyone can't be your best friend. So you have to you can be good to everyone, but your circle is your close friends, and you have to love yourself and you have to love them, and they will love you. As long as you accept yourself, anyone who loves you will accept you. So self love is that important to me now.
Beta, I think another part of self love is when you make the right choices for yourself also. So as
Yes,
you grow up, you will nurture and nourish yourself in the right manner. And I think self love is the most selfless love, because you can't pour from an empty cup. So keep
absolutely.
yourself filled with love and light so that you can give back that love and light. So keep filling
Absolutely.
yourself. Keep filling yourself with love and light and keep making those choices. Yeah, we do that.
Yes. Yes.
It's because it's now 1 hour. This was our time, and it's just flown. Time has just flown. It's been so wonderful talking to both of you.
Likewise,
Yes,
likewise.
yes. Geetika,
Same
I
here. Same
see,
here.
thank you, Beta. I see your husband sitting right next to you. So, together, what are you going to say to give strength to people out there, to families out there? Because he's right next to you. I see him there.
I'm
I see him right there.
I'm so happy that you can also feel his aura and presence around
Yes.
us, which we feel that we are blessed to be surrounded by that. But our only message is that probably acceptance and strength and the way forward with a smile, and for everybody, and everybody should just take their journeys as like life doles it out on a platter, and you
Yes.
win some and you lose some, but the end of the day you should accept with gratitude whatever is, and God has a plan, and we all just have to shape to it like water takes to a vessel. So
जी,
we really can't, we have to just flow.
जी. So, आप सबने सुना जो एक एक पुकार निकली है from a wife's heart and from a child's heart. Gather strength because that's what their purpose is now. They are giving us strength. They are showing us the way. They are flowing. And their love is very pure. Their love is very, very beautiful. And I think it's sustaining them. It's sustaining all of us. ये जो पूरी सृष्टि है, ये इस प्यार पे ही टिकी हुई है. अगर ऐसा प्यार नहीं होता इस सृष्टि में तो शायद ये सृष्टि टिकी नहीं होती. तो ये प्यार ही है और इतना निस्वार्थ प्यार है जो सृष्टि को बांधे हुए है. Should we take leave now? We've Ji. Should we
Thank
take
you.
leave?
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much
And
for
I
having
really
us.
enjoyed chatting with you. It
Thank
was a
you.
wonderful 1 hour that we spent. And thanks and
And
Thank you
namaste.
so
I
much for having
apologize.
us.
Thank you, beta, and I apologize for this inverter. It's been the voltage and the light has been
It
going
just
on and
doesn't
off.
disturb us.
Ji. Thank you. It's been a joy.
Have
It's
a
been a
nice day. Thank you. Bye
thank
bye.
you. Thank you. आप सब
Thank
ध्यान
you.
रखें अपना. सब ठीक रहें, खुश रहें. ध्यान रखें. जय धारी माँ. Thank you. जी.